All right. Happy expiration, everyone. It is July. Hope you're navigating the heat. The East Coast has been quite a hellish spot. But with me, as usual, by remote is Thomas. Thomas, how you doing this month, my friend?
I'm doing pretty good. I got a lot of things going on, a lot of fun stuff happening. I'm enjoying the World Cup.
The World Cup. I have an interesting World Cup story. Not really World Cup, but it's World Cup adjacent. Maybe we'll talk
Mm,
about that in the dad life part.
got it. But yeah,
The
overall things have been going.
overall, things have been going well. Well, that's a nice change of pace to hear from you. You're sometimes a bit
Things have,
more of the cynic type.
things have been going. Yeah, so we got some things going on that should be good. So we'll see.
Well, I hope things are working out well and continue to for you. We're doing okay over here. We've been holding down the fort on the heat, the summer camps,
Mm,
the well, just summer life in
summer,
general, right?
summer,
Just the
summer.
heat, the summer, the pool,
Yeah,
doing all that, work, not working, vacations, everything under the sun. We're somehow cramming into the last 30 days.
yeah, that'll do it.
So, why don't we just get into it? You ready to just go right into
Yep,
the markets?
yep. Let's go into the markets.
All right. So the thing I've really been focusing on this month has been the gold and silver markets. And I don't
Okay.
just mean, going into, oh, what's spot gold doing? I've been really doing a deep dive into what's sort of been going on there. Because as you've probably seen, the gold and silver spot markets have really pulled back over the last couple 2 months or so.
Yep.
They're tough. They're down like I think around 30% right now or something in that range. And I had an interesting conversation about it recently, and I do not see things improving for the gold market anytime soon. So if I'm going to go ahead and say something like that, what I want to do is figure out like some of the more nuances of how this stuff works. You know what I mean?
Mhm. Right.
So I've been looking into just like, the sort of business flows of miners versus bullion, just owning bullion outright versus say, what is crypto really compared to
Mm.
gold, that sort of thing. Also, just sort of what the demands are going to be from the different central banks. I'm really kind of thinking about gold in a whole different sort of way. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Because I mean, I'm not sure if you know it, when you're saying gold to me, I'm thinking traditional like gold, like I guess we were saying like bullion or like some sort of like
Bullion.
and there's like I guess some sort of like if I were to go to the market and buy gold, I would probably punch in either. I think there's probably what is there a gold ETF or is there just like gold futures or something along those lines, and that's just what it is, just gold, right? And
Hmm.
then I'm not sure if you're so then you're talking a lot more other facets of gold. So I guess I'm not really sure what those other facets are that you're talking about.
Well, that's a good, yeah. That's kind of what I set out to figure out.
Right.
So on the
'Cause-
my basic idea, like, why do I want to own gold?
Well, I guess can I take
I'm
it
trying
back
to
one
like
second?
make the case why owning gold is a good idea. That's really what I've been
Well,
trying to
I
do.
guess
I have no
look,
gold exposure.
well, can I just go back one go even more basic than that, right? So when you're looking to trade something, right? Gold is under the commodities exchange, right? So in the commodities exchange, just as a brief overview of that, like physical things, right? Rather than ownership of a stock, right? You could physically buy a share of gold and get that gold delivered to you in a commodities exchange,
Well,
theoretically,
yes and
right?
no. Yes and no.
Mhm.
So, and this is the once you get into it, it starts to become this weird little thing. What you're thinking of is like gold futures and
Mhm.
spot versus spot gold contracts.
Mhm.
So, yes, gold is traded on the COMEX, which is, part of now CME Group, and you could look up what the price of gold is per ounce for delivery in, say, or in July, let's say SEP, like let's say the end of the quarter. You could buy that, and it's a standard contract specification, and you what you'd be getting. So this is where it gets like you take delivery of that, quote unquote. You take delivery of the contract. What are you actually getting? What you're
Right.
actually getting is a deposit receipt saying that the bars sitting in this location now have your name associated with it, and
Hmm.
you have claim to them.
Right.
And you are then theoretically responsible for any carrying costs that may be accrued by them being there.
Hmm.
And then like so you don't actually like no like a dump truck doesn't come and deliver gold to your
Right.
house. That's not how it
Right.
happens.
Yeah, it's got to be more secure, I guess.
So like in the modern world, there's a lot of different ways you can have exposure to gold. Like you can do ETFs in gold. But then again, it's like, well, what are you really owning? You're owning a company that owns gold bars, which
Right.
are in a third place, probably there in a vault next to that other gold bar you bought, and that has their name on it.
Right.
So it's like, well, what are you really getting? You
I
know,
don't know. That's what I. That's
it's like,
like.
and so you can go the other way about it, where you say, well, oh, the dollar's going to go down the drain, and all this stuff is going to happen. It's like, well, like, okay, I bought gold, and now I own gold in a doomsday scenario where like things actually turn into Mad Max and everyone's like, "Oh, I gotta have my gold because the dollar is gonna go away."
What does that
What are you
mean?
gonna do
Yeah.
with it?
You're right. Seriously, you're gonna smelt it down and
It's like
and
it's like first of all, like if you get like an ounce of gold, like by weight,
yeah, yeah,
I looked it up. It's like 6.5 pounds.
yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
So what are you're gonna carry around like your life savings? You're gonna be dragging around say like a 25 pound weight, a 50 pound weight all day.
Yeah, I mean,
Like, what are you
you're
gonna do
gonna
with
have
it?
your little satchel around your waist, and Little John and Robin Hood are gonna have their gold coins in the guy's boot, and they're
Well, at least then we get back to coins. Like we can
yeah,
like,
well, that's a good point. Yeah, yeah. Well, that's the thing.
actually
Yeah,
use.
like I guess that's another question is that yeah, if you physically had that gold, like how let's assume we were back on the gold standard and we we had to use the gold as like you
Well,
go
the
down to buy
reason
your
we got
bread and
off the
milk.
gold, so I went on the history deep dive of gold. I like knew a lot of this stuff I kind of know from like just
Yeah.
studying economic history, but I went back and like remembered like what happened like the Nixon shock where we went off the gold standard and what did that really do and what did that really mean and blah 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 and it's like but like it's like give me a reason to own why should I own gold? I've really been like trying to figure out
Uh,
like give me
right.
the
So from what I'm hearing, I mean, I mean, I don't know, but it sounds like you said outright that you don't think it's going to start to turn around and that there's really no good case to own gold. Is that kind of what you're leaning towards, or?
so yes, I don't think that
Yes. Okay.
uh
And
next
good
segment
segment. Good segment.
uh I am of the opinion so under because it what I'm coming around to is like there's kind of like I guess three camps.
Mhm.
There's like the crazy preppers who want their gold to have like because they think like everything's going to go to hell, which is
Right.
actually like a terrible plan, right? If anything, you'd want to like sell the gold now, get money to then buy supplies,
Right.
and
Right.
then have your
Right. Right.
supplies, right?
Right.
And then
Right.
you have in the other camp, you have all of these like gold is entirely worthless. Like
Hmm.
gold is the dumbest thing. It's just a shiny piece of metal, like blah blah blah. Like it's you get like this very like
So
literalists talking about how
yeah.
gold is nonsense. And then you have
Mhm.
like kind of like the main like a normal modern market where you have a purpose for gold.
Mhm.
There is a reason to keep gold. Like there's some reasoning behind it,
Mhm.
you know? And the answer that I can figure out is that it's because it's an absolute amount. Like there's only a fixed people don't realize like how much gold do you think is in like in the vaults? Like
Uh,
by volume, like how much gold? Like if you were to fill,
are we measuring
could
this in
you fill
swimming
like could
pools
you
or
fill
elephants
Lake
or?
Michigan with like if you took all of the gold, could you fill
Yeah.
like Lake
No.
Michigan?
No.
Could you
No.
fill
I would imagine that it's a very small, a relatively small amount of like in the grand scheme of things. Like Lake Michigan is huge. Like I'm thinking smaller than that. Like if we were to take all the physical gold bars that we had, like could they fit into?
Plus jewelry,
Uh,
plus whatever, plus this, plus that.
yeah, I mean, if you were to take, I guess, are we talking like all the gold in the world ever that's existed?
Yes.
Um,
Like
uh,
every piece of gold that we have available to us.
I mean,
Like the Egyptian
yeah,
masks, that's gold. You take that
yeah,
and you throw it on the pile.
all the Spanish doubloons that are at the bottom of the sea and
Right. Like
all of that. Yeah. I'm sure somebody at some point figured it out, and it's a relatively
there's an
shockingly
absolute
small
answer and I
amount.
know it.
Yeah. Let me think. Okay. So can you give me? Are we talking like swimming pools or elephants, or what kind of unit of measure? Awkward unit of measurement are we talking about? Are we talking about
Well, that's what I'm asking you. Like
let's
how,
see,
you know.
let's see, ice cream cones. Let's say, no, I would say it's probably something along the lines of like a dumb room measurement. I don't know. What's a famous room? I'm trying to think here. I don't know. The Oval Office. Let's say, can it all fit inside the Oval Office?
That's actually not that
Not that
far
far off.
off.
That's what,
Um,
I'm trying to think like because you got to realize that like a lot of that gold, if you were to put it into one solid chunk, you know, squeeze out all those voids,
you could
there
take it
probably isn't a whole
all. I'll
lot
tell
of
you,
it.
you can put it all and you could put it onto onto like like a baseball diamond.
Yeah, like yeah, that makes
Like if you
sense.
did
Yeah.
made a big
Well, how
square,
tall is
it'd be
that?
like about the size of like the infield.
But how tall?
It's a square, Thomas. It's think about the infield of 90 feet to first.
Yeah,
It's a square.
but okay,
And it's a
okay, but
cube.
volume is in three dimensions.
So it's a
So how high
cube.
is
It's
that
a
cube?
cube.
Okay,
It's a
okay,
cube.
so okay, cube. Okay, all right, yeah.
Right?
Okay,
But
that
so here's my point though. That's pretty much a fixed
yeah,
point. Like
okay,
that number doesn't change.
right,
So gold becomes like the speed of light for economics. It's like this
constant.
constant that you can use. And
Yeah,
that's kind of the long and short of what I think gold is good for. But it is interesting to really like pipe down and think it through. Like, what is this? Like, why do I have this? Why would I have this? So I've been thinking a lot about gold and silver recently. It's been a good run.
yeah.
But now I think we're ready to move on to the next topic. Are you ready to see some charts?
I love charts. Everybody loves charts.
Everybody loves charts. Alrighty, so we're going to try to keep this going with our chart segment. I think it'll be a winner in the long run. And part of that is because we're using TradingView, which is excellent. And for any newcomers, code TraderDads will get you a discount on your TradingView.com subscription. TradingView is great. I use it in Substacks. I use it for normal analysis. So TraderDads in TradingView.com will get you a discount. Check it out. All right, so we have the normal SPX up. We have a daily chart up. I think this is what we're going to start with on the month over month check-in. What I'm seeing here is we're getting ready to move higher. That's what I am seeing out of this. We have had our consolidation month after a nice breakout, and now we are going to get ready to move higher. It's pretty straightforward. I think we're going to just pop, and then I think we're probably going to see a test back down this fall, probably around the time maybe there's renewed chatter of a Fed hike, and then we will head upwards into next year. I think we're looking at that for the SPX. And if we jump over to the Qs, not quite as pronounced. We're not quite ready to break out there, but I do think it's going to come again. I wouldn't be surprised if we hit 760 before Labor Day. So here we go. We got our index charts today. I think we are looking at a pretty bullish setup. What do you think there, pal?
I mean, I think it's a little clearer on the SPX if you were to go back to that. There's a lot of noise, it looks like, in the last couple of days. But yeah, this looks to me like it's gonna near that top that was in, I guess, the end of June or beginning of June, right
That
there.
was
I mean,
the
you
we
look
topped around June 1, June 2.
right, so it's gonna so it looked like it was coming up to get close, and then it's looking to retest that top, and then if we break through that, then you're probably gonna be heading up. That to me looks a lot clearer. But if you go back to the cues, then that seems a lot more muddy, and it doesn't seem like there's a clearer trend. It seems like it's you know there might be a little bit of closeness between the SPX and Qs right there. It looks like, the Qs, you can make an argument that it's starting to trend down. Um, and then, is it going to bottom out right kind of where it's been hitting around 700? We'll see. It might go down before it goes up again. I think that's kind of more likely that it might hit the 700 again and then bounce off that 700 and then start to head up towards, the end of the year.
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely not as pronounced. What I think we have to take into account is that we're going to see second quarter earnings start to be released, and
Mm,
that is really the coiling I think we're seeing here. I think that as soon as some of the because what will happen is the S&P will announce first
hmm
overall, like they are getting more information
mm,
about what's in the S&P 500 earlier
hmm
because we're going to start to see banks and whatnot with their releases first. They are already granting some, previews, some whispers, some sense. So I think what this is saying is that the larger group is starting to see a positive earnings quarter. And
hmm
because the cues for NASDAQ, because tech companies tend to report later,
Right,
it just hasn't gotten as much information and whisper prints yet from
right.
analysts like giving their last forecasts before the final announcements come. So I think relatively speaking, like I'd be buying Qs and selling SPX over the next month into earnings. I think Qs, if earnings pop, Qs will pop a lot harder.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a fair point, with the timing of the earnings. If you take a look, go back to the SPY chart or SPX charts rather, then you are probably spot on where the retest, if you look at that shape and if that information is kind of front running the Qs, then the Qs is probably about a week or two up to that point where it's going to start to come closer to that retest at the top. So yeah, I mean, that makes sense. If by the beginning of August, that might be looking to go back up to with the Q value, I should say, would be going back up to kind of where the overall highs were, or getting
Yeah,
back up to where those retests were in those spots, so probably around between 740 and 750.
I would agree with that. Yep, I think that's definitely where we're heading. So we
Yeah.
shall see. All right, before we finish up charts, let's just take a quick look at gold. So this is what I was referring to when we had the major run up and then we went back down. So what did this actually come out to be? This was from actual pop to trough, 29%, 30%. So yeah, I was right on. I really can't see us getting much above, say, 4,500.
Is that year to date, you said?
This is yeah, this is last year. This is a daily. We'll always
Well,
start
you're
with a
saying that that,
simple
that drop
daily
of tw
chart.
that drop of 29%, that's like from the beginning of the year, you're
Oh,
saying?
that is from, yeah, that's
Or the
from
all-time
when
high.
we topped in January
Yep.
down.
Gotcha.
So we're down
Yep.
30% coming into the end of the second quarter.
Hmm. Yep.
Same with silver. Same with silver. And I don't see it really getting back over that 74, 75 range on silver this year either. I think it's just, you're not going to, that sort of run up followed by this, it doesn't just like reverse up again. It's going to take some time for that
Was
catalyst.
there any significant news towards the end of last year that was causing that run up? Was there? I can't remember if there was anything that was causing that, because I mean that's.
There were several things. Silver was a little bit more of an industrial story, with gold is a little bit more of a geopolitical story. We won't rehash that here because I'd have to go back and double
Mm,
check 6 months ago what the main catalysts were. But silver was a little bit of an industry story because the precursor to all of the memory chips that are now hot needed some of the silver inputs. And
mm.
then gold, we were getting ready to probably invade Iran. I think that's in two sentences the easiest way to give
Yep,
that.
makes sense.
So unless, but you know what? You never know. We're going to invade Iran again. Might do it
Yeah,
again. You don't know.
you never know.
So yeah, and we'll just close it out. My last thought here, Bitcoin. I think
Mm.
Bitcoin is finally starting to bottom. I think there's some sentiment change coming in Bitcoin. I think maybe now we might finally start to curve back up, head back up towards the 80s range, start to test this again.
Would
So
your feelings on gold, on the commodities, transfer over to Bitcoin in terms of the same way as, it's called digital gold?
no, I have very different opinions on them. I think of Bitcoin very much in terms of a blockchain technology, not as like an economic store of value.
Mm.
Like
Okay.
I think that's really like when the agentic account, like when agents start to have their we'll call it their
Ledgers.
online credit card moment, where
Hmm
suddenly people trust agents to spend money. I think you're going to
hmm
see a real like structural demand change for Bitcoin because it'll be able to operate in the blockchain, which will
hmm
make the agents much more truthful in managing it. Like it'll be an extra level of security
Right.
to allow an agent to operate on a blockchain because it's very black and white. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, but that's a whole other conversation for a whole other thing. That might come up maybe later in the year. That's interesting.
Yep. Yep.
But all right. That was a long chart segment.
Everybody loves charts though, so it's okay.
Everybody loves charts. We can talk about charts all day, I know. As much as I would just love to sit and talk about charts all day.
Yep.
Uh let's keep it moving, my friend. So let's move on to the education section, shall we?
Sounds good.
Alrighty. So I would like to ask your thoughts on summer school, like real
Okay.
summer school.
Okay. I can't say
Like,
that I've really partaken into it, but go for it. What's your question? Is there a specific thing about it that you'd like to ask me about, or is it just my thoughts in general?
well, now is the time for summer, obviously. And my kids are in day camp.
Yep.
Like they're just doing whatever, right?
Yep. I I will say, anecdotally, when I was, in school,
Hmm.
I did not do a whole lot of work over the summer. And not anecdotally, I know I didn't. I didn't do a whole lot of reading, didn't do a whole lot of that stuff. And I will say that going back to school was a little bit of a challenge to get back into the groove of things. So I will say there is some merit to the use it or lose it in terms of, like some things in academic worlds, like especially like we're really pushing to keep the reading train going with our older kid.
Hmm.
To really kind of keep that, front of mind to kind of keep the momentum that she got from the first year, when she started like really starting to get into reading, like trying to keep building on that so that she doesn't lose any of that, doing our best to make sure that she doesn't lose what she already had gained. Because she was like kind of on the cusp, and it's like, oh man, if you don't start reinforcing that, it's very easy to kind of just let that slip, and then all of a sudden the time keeps going, and it's like, oh, that could be a real problem.
Right.
So,
I know, 100% agree. The backslide is rough, and if nothing else, you have to keep them occupied.
mhm,
So when I say like summer school, I was actually more thinking about it in terms of like actual like deliberate learning,
mhm.
not just keeping
Yeah, yeah,
like,
yeah. No, no,
not
yeah. That's
just
what
keeping
I thought.
them afloat for 10 weeks until they can start over again. I'm talking about like as you may or may not know, we were in Ireland and Scotland last month.
Mm. Yes.
We were surprised to find out that the children there were still in school. It was the end of June. They were still there and they were
Mm.
still doing their thing. And they would get like, and then they would start earlier again. Like their school year on average is longer.
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
and there's always the classic, like, what do you do with them all summer? You got to pay this money. You got to pay money. They got
Right.
to go somewhere. There's loads of,
Right.
so the idea of like, why it's sort of like with gold. Like, why do we have a summer break? Can't they just
That's a
keep
good question.
going?
No, well,
Like
yeah,
why, like why can't they
it's a good
just
question.
continue?
That's a good question. I don't know. I guess, well, there's probably, I don't know. That's another good topic of conversation. But I mean, like some of those
Like
schools, the infrastructure is not put up
why can't they just continue? Like you could
because
change the curriculum, you could downswing the curriculum and stuff for like a couple weeks, but why can't they just continue the next day? Like why does it have to end? Like what are they doing? They're not rebuilding the building every year, right? The men aren't like putting on like
true,
their
true. But I guarantee that there was probably there probably are reasons for it.
I mean,
Um,
the classic reason for it is like, oh, it was an agrarian schedule, and the
right.
kids had to go
Yeah.
like tell
Right.
home to like help plant. And then some people say that's bullshit, and then other people say like, well, it's just too hot. Like nobody did anything in July and August. Like, if
Right.
you go back to like the year 1800,
Right.
nobody, they all went to like the out to the countryside to stay cool or down to the beaches and stuff. Like
Right.
that's why
Right.
Atlantic City became a big thing because all Philadelphia people went out to like the
Hmm.
Jersey Shore and get out of the city in August.
Right.
So there's that whole thing, but we don't live in that world
Well,
anymore. You know what
it's
I mean?
it's tradition. That makes it okay. That's
Momentum and tradition count. I get that. I
yeah.
get that.
Yeah.
That's also why we like gold.
Yeah.
But
Exactly.
the the whole concept, because we've been juggling it. Okay, this one has to go here, this one has to go here, this one has to go there. I got to drop you off, then you off, and this costs this amount, and this is this that. Where you have to shift gears and do a whole different schedule.
Mhm.
And so I was kind of like, why the hell do we do this? Why can't it just
Continue.
be just keep go,
Right.
just go back on Monday. Just
Right.
like pretend this never happened. Like,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
just go back. Like
I don't
the
know.
teacher
Yeah.
can come, the kids can go, the bus
Or
driver stays
or
employed. Like,
or
why is
yeah.
it even a thing?
Or at least have some sort of transitional semester. You know what I mean? Like, and like I said, change the curriculum a little bit, but break up the monotony. But
Teach
have
them
some sort
regular
of
life skills. You know what they should really do? This is what I'm 100% honest about this. They should use those 8 to 10 weeks and then just teach them like pragmatic lifestyle things.
not a bad idea.
Like
It's
you
a
are
pretty
all
good idea.
going to
School of life, school of
school of
hard knocks.
life, something of
Hmm.
like something of that nature. You should
Yeah, yeah, that's a good
like
idea
they need
actually.
to learn how they're gonna like they have to take a class on like budgeting and a class on like
Yeah,
uh
or like more like traditionally like home economic stuff like cooking, you know things like that. Some sort of skill that
right.
isn't traditionally in an academic curriculum. I think a skill based thing would be good over the summer.
I mean
Like
it's age appropriate, right? I mean
yeah,
there's a
like
big difference between being 15 and you're home for 10
right,
weeks and being
yeah,
like, 8. I think there's a
yeah,
big
like
difference. I get that. And but so like but I would send them both. Just to,
but yeah, I mean, so it basically you can think of it as like an extended camp. Like okay, this summer session, the 8-year-olds are all going to focus on some sort of computer skill or some sort of life skill or something along those lines. Like, they're going to focus on or two or three things. Like, like Mondays is this, Monday, Wednesday, Friday to do this, Tuesday, Thursday to do this, or something like that. So, you know, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, they're going to learn to build a website, and Tuesday, Thursday, they're going to rebuild a carburetor. It's like,
neither
um,
skill is at all useful in 2026, by the way.
exactly, exactly. But well,
Neither of those
that's
skills
about,
are at all useful.
oh yeah. But the sentiment. But so that's a good thing. Like what skills are applicable? But then you need to have somebody who's proficient in teaching those skills. You know,
Yeah, well,
like
you don't always have people who are proficient in math, English, writing, history, and whatever else.
well,
Science.
traditionally those are a little more. Those have been around for a while. but but the new cutting edge technology stuff. That's a little harder to find somebody who's a little proficient.
Like what, like
To teach.
carburetors?
Well, no, I'm talking about more of like webs like AI stuff. Like if somebody were sit down to teach kids, all right, this is what we're doing, like an AI type thing. you know, that'd be a little harder to find a curriculum for that, something along those lines to teach them that. I think that's more trial by error at this point.
No, that's true. That's true. I mean, my broad point is like the pain in the butt every year of coordinating the camp schedules and all of that. Like, whoa,
Mhm.
he has splash day that it gums up the works for 2 months.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
it's like begs the question, why? Why are we doing this? Like why can't and I'm sure somebody will be screaming at the thing, like a teacher will be screaming at the thing and then saying like, well, because we need a break and blah 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 blah. That's a classic example. And
yeah,
I get that as well, but you're entitled to real PTO. I'm not saying you're
yeah,
not.
yeah,
You can
yeah.
take like
It's
two,
tough.
3 weeks off. It's fine. I get it.
Yeah, it's a tricky situation. Because you think about it, like if you think about like daycares, right? Like if those like our kids go to like summer camp and daycare and things like that on a pretty regular schedule. And I think about that like we go to work on a 12-month schedule. Like you may take like a week or two off here throughout the year, whatever your allotted PTO is. But
It's also like
when you're
this is also the 9 to 5 thing. It's like why do they get out of two when we have a 9 to 5 schedule?
That's well, okay, that's a whole different conversation. But like I was thinking about that, and like if I took a week off, there are other employees that can cover for me potentially to do work and kind of cover it for a week. If somebody is, the sole person for like child, I don't want to say care, but like I guess being in charge of children, then if that person takes a week off most places like a school like it's a lot difficult to fill that role for a week or something along those lines. So
Talking about
you know
substitute teachers?
well I mean yeah, I mean I guess yeah, I guess you were a substitute teacher. That was a very it's very eye-opening Trader Dads when you
Like
discuss
I
that.
was a substitute teacher. Like it's fine. I get it.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
especially in the way especially in the way the teaching goes today, where it's just like, oh, they have just tablets, and they're just like,
Mhm.
oh, you have to just do your whatever, your do your assigned thing. So like the teachers with
Yeah.
PTO, it's fine. You can have it. I'm not like arguing that you don't deserve to be paid. This isn't like a pay thing. This isn't just
Mhm.
talking about like the inherent structure of the thing. Like, why do they not just go? Like, I would even give them like 2 weeks, like 2 weeks off. Like, I get it. Oh, it's the 2 weeks off between the grade change. Like, I get it. You
Yeah.
get 2 weeks to like close
I,
up. Everybody,
I
you know.
I don't have a good answer for you. I don't know. That's a I didn't think the summer school question was going this way. No, I hear what you're saying. When you initially asked the summer school question, I wasn't sure exactly what you meant. Like, oh, did I fail a grade and have to go to summer school, or is it, or is it just like continuing the school, like what you're talking about? First thing I thought about was like, oh, did I fail a grade and have to make it up over the summer
Well,
to
that's
keep
like the
going?
traditional thing. But like
Yeah,
but that's
that's
another
what I thought of
stupid
summer
thing
school.
though. That was
Yeah,
actually what I had originally kind of thought of with the idea. It came about because it's like it's only 10 weeks. Like he had 9 months to learn like
yeah, yeah, right.
algebra, and you think he's
Yeah,
gonna like figure it
fix it
all
in
out
10 weeks.
in 10 weeks, an extra 10 weeks where he's bitter and it's like
Yeah,
nobody else is
right,
here and he's
right,
like what is that gonna do? That's only
right.
like that's
Yeah.
punitive. That's not like educational.
No, yeah. I know very little about the overall American education system, so I can't answer any of these questions with any sort of conviction. I know very little about it. So,
That's okay. That's okay.
yeah.
I mean, that's
But
part of the problem. I mean, most people don't know most things, and I include myself in that. Because
but to
that's not
answer
what
your
I do by
question,
industry. It's what I do as just an interest.
summer school, pro.
I am pro
Next
summer
topic.
school. Yes, I am pro.
Next
That's what
topic.
it boils down to. I'm pro summer school in that the kids should go
Yeah.
to school in summer.
Okay.
But after that, we're gonna go after that. It's gonna bring us to a new segment called "No Stupid Questions." Okay, so this is a no judgment zone
Okay. I
where
love the no judgment zone.
where we say there are no stupid questions, and sometimes there's a lot of insight in what might be a stupid question.
Yeah, I don't think any question is stupid. I just think that it's just anybody who's asking a question is just trying to learn more about a topic they don't know anything about. And you can never belittle somebody for trying to learn more about something, regardless
Mhm.
of what level they start at,
Mhm.
because everybody's a beginner sometimes.
So everybody's a beginner at some point at everything.
As I said, everybody's a beginner sometimes, it's just what it is. I'm a
Um,
beginner and I don't know, everything.
okay, so this month's no stupid question. So I'm like listening, and I'm like, here, what is the most like critical question I've heard that really like makes you ponder? So this came from my 5-year-old when we were traveling. My 5-year-old asked, why doesn't everyone use the same kind of money? We started in the United States doing USD, and then we
Mhm.
went to Ireland, where we had to get the euro, and then we finally went to Scotland, where we needed to use the pound, and then we went back to Ireland, where we had to reuse the euro before we finally made it back to the United States to use the pound. And that was what we had to do, because obviously Ireland uses a different currency. My 5-year-old's question, why doesn't everyone just use the same money?
I mean, time and history, things have progressed at different, you know, ways. And then the question becomes then, who decides what that is? So
So
there's a great XC was it XKCXD or what is that cartoon? The
XKCD.
yeah, XKCD, where it's like, okay,
Long.
all the people
I
got
haven't.
together.
I used to be a big follower of it, but not
Yeah,
anymore.
but
Yeah,
so,
I know
so
this.
so they get together and it's like, okay, we are going to create one standard electric outlet, and we are going to get rid of the 26 other electric outlets 5 years later. we're going to create the 28th standard electric outlet, and we're going to forget the other 27 electric outlets. So,
It's what happens. What happens on
yeah,
the, that's an engineering problem for sure.
yeah,
So the genesis of this like segment and the genesis of the question, like she asked me like, I think we were in a cab, like
mhm,
going some to and fro, and we just took the cab ride, and it like I was just looking out the window, kind of like thinking about it. It's like what?
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like I was
yeah.
just
I
like
mean,
thinking about it because like I intuit the question because like well the euro is obviously an example where they tried that. Like in
mhm.
1999 they basically said, "Hey, why don't we
It,
all just use the
use
same currency?"
it's a great idea.
Well, it was a good idea until it wasn't, and then you had like the Greek debt crisis in 2011. You had like all of these things going on. And it's but like so it's one of those things where idealistically you're like, yeah, why don't we all just use gold?
Yeah,
Like why don't we all just kind of do this stuff?
yeah.
Why don't we all just use the United States dollar? Like why not? Like why do we not just do
Very,
that?
very centric. But yeah, why couldn't there just be the world currency and everybody has it? That's a good question. I think about that. I have thought about that, and I don't know why. And but just to get everybody to agree on it would be really, really hard.
Well, that's a piece of it, but why? Like why is that why
Because
wouldn't
people
we all
suck.
just use it?
Because people suck. Because people have
Mhm.
egos. If you just
I
put
put
aside
like I
egos,
put like a
then
real bit of thought into the answer.
yeah,
And
okay.
I didn't ask you one of the constraints of this, I
Was
think, is
not
going to
to
be like
ask it.
I'm not
Yeah,
going to ask like I'm not going to like just punch the question into AI. That's like that's like when you get to when you go to bar trivia and somebody's looking up the answers on their phone and it's like
yeah.
2000 maybe like 7 and suddenly
Mm,
everybody first guy had like 3G and could look up the answers at bar trivia and everybody thought that guy was a tool.
yeah.
Um
Okay, so
so I'm
so
not going to look it
what
up,
did
but
you come up
here's
with?
what I really thought. Here's like what my like philosophical thought was. It's it boils down to not the currency that you have, but rather what denomination of debt is for that particular country or whatever. So what I mean is if you like the one of the main problems with the Greek crisis for currency was that by using the euro, Greeks got loans in euros. And a euro loan can only be really as bad as as a euro loan could be because going rates to get euros were reasonably normal. So because a subprime person got to use a prime credit card
Mm,
effectively, the person eventually spiraled out of control because it was
right.
they were there was a risk profile of a prime country being used by a clearly subprime lender. So it's not the currency per se that's the problem, it's the debt that they get when they are denominated in that currency. That's why you can't do that.
Mm,
You know, it's like if I have a sterling credit and then I give a credit card with my name on it to my idiot kid and they buy a bunch of shit and run up the credit card, why didn't anyone stop them? Because it's my credit card with my credit limit and my ability to repay that they are getting to use. And I would very quickly put a stop to that
right,
and say, you can't use my credit card anymore.
right.
That's why that is. So I was saying, well, why is everybody, it's not about currency exchange. It's not about like everybody uses the same currency. It's about who is credit worthy to use this valuable thing.
Mm.
That's like
Yes.
where I came. That's where I came away from it. And then
And
we got to the airport, and then I stopped talking about it.
yeah, of course. Yeah.
Mhm.
That's a pretty astute observation in terms of the way currency would be viewed instead of looking at it as currency in general. It's the debt of the currency, which makes sense, and that's
Mhm.
that's probably pretty close. I mean, but I think what could be done is if you just slowly migrate, you know, let's start talking to Canada. Let's try to close that Canadian dollar gap, and let's try to get it to one and just figure that one out.
Well, and because of how frictionless currency exchange has become, it de-incentivizes communal usage.
Yeah, I
Like
guess
it
that's
becomes
true.
such a nothing to change currencies.
Right, because it's not really physical currency so much anymore. It's more of just a math equation as opposed to like having to go to a bank and get,
It's just a
for
few
lack of
keystrokes.
euros.
It's just a few
Yep.
keystrokes at a given
Right.
rate, which a given and
Right.
the given rate is determined very, very globally. Global FX rates or so. The vig on it by like your the guy at the
Yeah.
travel agency is enormous,
Yeah.
but that's a
Hmm.
different for different reasons. Um, but the exchange rate being so seamless now, it means that you're not gonna have to do that.
Right.
It's not a
Yeah.
big deal. Like, who cares? Like, why? Who cares?
Right.
Oh, we're paying Canadian, blah, blah, blah. I just
Right.
select the button, which currency it's for. It means
Yeah.
nothing. So it actually,
So
it disincentivizes, what it does, going back to the euro, is that it actually disincentivizes the use of a euro. Because if you could just go back to Greek drachma, and you could just be like, well, if I need euro, I'll just click the button, change it to euro, blah, 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 blah. But now Greeks can only get Greek loans in Greek drachma. And instead of it being, say, 4%, it's like 12%. And you really got to rethink whether you want to give these people like loans. You know
right.
what I mean?
Yeah.
So like it really disentangle. I think that it's like this has been like an under the radar thing, I think, for about 10 years now, where since Brexit, FX has not been front page news. But when I was in FX in 2011, 2015, when that area was starting to really break up, the yuan started to there was a period where Chinese yuan was loosening their um export controls. So like we actually had
Mm.
like Chinese yuan. You can't really do that anymore. It got tight again. You can't really trade. The point is like there was a time when FX was playing a real like topical role in like the markets and how that's impacting things. Like the yen carry trade got interesting for a little while. The yen's having a whole different set of issues now, but what I'm saying is that it's due for a comeback, actually. Like the example I'm giving you about the Greek and Euro zone loan issuances is that's like a 14-year-old argument,
Mm.
15-year-old argument now. Like that was sort of
Right.
the essence of what the Eurozone thing was 15 years ago. But with the increase in technology and the seamlessness of being able to convert currencies, it's one less reason
Right.
why you need a united currency like that.
Well, I don't think you need a united currency, but it could just make things easier because it is so easy. Maybe it's potentially trending towards consistency or convergence.
Mm, maybe, but
Once people find a way to just, I don't know, if they can just get rid of that step, we'll see. I don't think it's ever going to happen because people have too much pride and they're like, oh, I love my yen or my drachma or my franc, like whatever it is, you know. Um, I think there's some of that too. There's some, I don't know, civic pride in terms of
well,
like
there's a
whatever your
little of
country's
that.
currency, yeah, you know,
But hey,
because like
there are
how
no
would you
stupid questions.
how would you feel if all of a sudden like you had to use the euro on your day to day? Like you'd be pretty annoyed, right? Like, you know,
I mean,
or pesos, like
well, that's the thing, right? Like just by the sound of your voice, you're kind of like, why the hell would I use pesos? Like, what is
right.
that? Like, right? And like, why is that?
Okay, well, because you have no
It goes
concept
back
of
to my like, why do people have like a that has like a stink on it, you know?
well, it's just because it's different. And I was thinking, isn't there like a there's like a scene in like I think it's like Beer Fest where they're like, was that like pesos or something? He said something.
Yeah,
That's
well,
the
they make fun
talking
of the
about.
euros in that. That movie came
Yeah,
out only a couple of years after the euro was introduced, so it was like a
yeah,
topical joke.
right.
Um,
Yeah,
but the point is, you do have like a stench to certain currencies. Why? Why is that? Well, if they
I don't know.
do, why don't you use the dollar? Well, why not? Like, why does it gets into
Yeah.
the same sort of gold argument, which I kind of thought of like after the fact. So I was like, oh, we should talk about that. So why doesn't everyone use the same currency? It's because some people suck with money and we're not going to give them their line of credit under my name. That's the answer.
Okay. Okay. That's an answer. Yes.
That's unanswered. Yes.
That's an answer. That's always good. It's good to answer the no stupid questions with an answer.
We're gonna try it. That's a new one. We'll try to
Yeah.
figure it out as we go.
Oh,
Maybe next
I'm
month.
sure there's going to be a lot of questions that come up that we could talk about. Sure.
Yeah, yeah. All right. You ready to close it down with dad life?
Sure. Sure.
All right. So, how was your 4th of July?
It was eventful, I guess. So I mean, were you were not in the country for 4th of July?
We were back. We were in the country
Oh,
for
oh,
4th
you
of July.
okay. So so I don't know if you guys had in our area, we had some pretty wicked storms roll in like that weekend.
I
Um,
can't recall
so
exactly.
so we had a lot of high winds and a lot of flash, heavy rainstorms. So a lot of trees came down. Um, just it was like 50 to 60 mile per hour gusts of winds. Like the house behind us had like a 25-foot tree get knocked down. Just like sheared the roots just and it fell out. So that was so a lot of that happening. So everybody was getting caught in some rainstorms. A lot of fireworks got delayed. A lot of so we were trying to catch some fireworks. The 4th of July night, Saturday night, we were at home, and the question was, oh, when you see the big flash in the sky, was that lightning or was it a firework? That was the question.
I gotcha.
That's what we were doing. But overall, I mean, the 4th of July weekend was pretty good. We squeezed
Get your
some
picture?
barbecue in.
Get your picture
I
with
did
your
get my picture in.
get your
Yes, I did get
picture.
my picture in. Yeah, that was good. That was yeah, I had to take a selfie of it in front of the grill with my kids, which was good. But got it. So have it for posterity. One more year in the books. So
More.
for better for worse. So but yeah, overall it was good though. I mean, I enjoyed the 4th of July quite a bit. We were able to get some grilling in, some picnic food, some swimming. It was a good time. It was a very casual, very good time. But got to watch my hot dog eating contest. Had to have that on in the background.
Joey Chestnut
That's
won.
Yep, always. Yeah, I think he had
Won.
what do you have,
He's
60, 60,
in
61?
in that
60,
way,
no,
he's the
66 this year.
worst thing that could happen. Like he's the worst thing that could happen to that sport. Like you need competition for people to watch. You want to see somebody nipping at his heels.
Well, yeah, so I mean, I could go on for days about this topic, but so I was in the crowd the last time Joey Chestnut lost. I was at the 2015 competition at Surf and Stillwell at the Nathan's Hot Dog Eating Contest where Matt Stoney beat Joey Chestnut. So I was at that competition and it was awesome. It was fun. A lot of fun for me. And then
Hmm?
in 2024 he was banned, so he couldn't compete. So um
Right.
yeah, so I mean, but yeah,
For
since
what reason was
since
he banned? I have no idea.
it was
I
a
do
contract
remember
dispute.
hearing that though.
Yeah, it was a contract dispute. So Major League Eating has pretty strict parameters, and then he was trying to go outside of
Of
the
course.
parameters of his contract, and he got banned from the competition, which was really, but it gave them some publicity. So the competition was really dumb, really dumb. It really wasn't entertaining at all. But yes, there is no one who can really hold a candle to him at this point, and it's a little humdrum. So
It's like a formal. It's like Groundhog's Day. It's like, well,
yeah,
we're gonna watch this guy do this thing, but it doesn't really
yeah,
matter.
yeah,
It doesn't really.
yeah. It's more of just it's like it's just water is wet. Joey Chestnut wins the hot dog eating competition. Fireworks go off at
Fireworks
night.
and
Like it's
no.
yeah, it's the same. It's the same thing every year. But
I
yeah,
have never been a fireworks person. Like they're
mm,
fine. Like whatever. I'm like it's just like whatever. But I'm never gonna go wait 3 hours on my
mm,
lawn chair to go watch fireworks. And I used to live right along the
the Hudson.
Hudson,
Yeah,
which the Hudson River, which had fireworks like in the between Memorial Day and Labor Day, they'd probably light fireworks probably 10, 12, 15 times in a season because in addition to Memorial Day and 4th of July over the Statue of Liberty and the Macy's 4th of July parade and fireworks display and then the Labor Day one, and then then you'd get like Ernst and Young sponsors so and so's birthday, and then they'd light like
Hmm.
four fireworks off on a barge.
Yep.
So we'd hear fireworks all the time. They don't bother me in that way. I just don't find them that like it's like okay, I get it. It's a big color in the sky. I'm just not
I,
that
I find them
into.
I find them I find it entertaining. I like the whole premise of like the whole day. It's like it's a good way to kind of end the day. It's a good nightcap. It's like it kind of just puts a bookend on the day of food and hanging out and doing fun stuff. And then all of a sudden there's like not an event, but something that you don't see all the time. It's like, okay, that's just like, okay, we're just gonna sit and chill out and we're just gonna watch this and it's entertaining for 20 minutes and never good to go to bed. I
No, I
I
get that
enjoy
too.
yeah, I mean I like them. I enjoy shooting them off is fun. That's much
Shooting them
different.
off.
Shooting them off is a lot more fun.
Yeah,
A
yeah.
lot
I
more
like kind
dangerous,
of
but a lot more
dodged
fun.
it. Like there was some guys in my neighborhood who were getting ready for to like all go in and get fireworks.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is like the worst form of everyone in your office is getting the lottery tickets for the Powerball.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't want to spend $10 on Powerball tickets with you people. I'm certainly not putting in $250 to get fireworks with you.
Right.
Like I'm
Yeah.
not, so I
Yeah,
dodged
that's a
that
tough thing.
bullet. I mean, I like
That's a tough thing.
I respect it as a thing. It's just not my thing.
Yeah, it's not your thing. Yeah, it's fair. And that's understandable. I mean, that's a lot to deal with that. I mean, like you,
Well, because
so,
like to
and
do a real
around,
show, they're expensive. Like it's
oh,
not like
yeah.
anything
Oh,
else
yeah.
in life. It's expensive to
Yeah.
light off fireworks. And
Yep.
then
Around,
you light them and then they're done and you're like, oh, that was like
yeah. So around
it's
the
like
corner
that
from
and
us,
cocaine. The fireworks and cocaine are like the two easiest ways to burn money. Like it's just
yeah.
boom, gone.
Yeah. Gone. But around the corner from us is a park, and every year one guy puts up a pretty good display in the park. So that's like a
Okay.
nice, really around the corner from us. It's a nice like way to do that. So we haven't really done it last couple years, but because kids are young and it's a little late, like he doesn't, 10 o'clock, and like you know.
Hmm.
But as the kids are getting older, then it's kind of like it's the nice thing that somebody does. So it's all him. Like he doesn't really like ask for money or anything. Like he just does it because he likes to do it. So that's entertaining. It's fun.
I can
And
relate.
then yeah. So but yeah, I like fireworks. They're fun.
What I'm
I
interested
like the
in,
different variety of fireworks.
yeah, so that's sort of what I was getting at. I get fireworks these days like are very, very easy. You just buy fireworks and light them off, right? Like
Mhm.
and it's like one and done. Have I've been seeing some of the drone
Oh, those are
shows.
amazing. Those are so
The
cool.
drone shows are something else. Like
That
I would sit if
yeah,
there
for a
was going
drone
to
show.
be like a
Yeah.
really professional, well done, like narratively driven drone show.
Hmm.
That is pretty impressive.
Hmm.
Like that's big in Disney,
Hmm.
I
Well,
know.
I think we touched on it a little bit in one of our previous recordings, but like the amount of drones that are needed for a show, and then like
Right.
the company or whatever that puts them on. Like, let's say your local municipality wanted to put on a drone show. Okay, well, how much does it cost to get 500 drones for a 20-minute show? Like that's pretty significant. So like right now the drone shows are kind of more for like the major places. And
Yes, I agree.
and and also because they're for the major places, the people who are catering to that clientele can put on some significantly elaborate shows for that price. So it's
Oh,
it's much
yes,
more of like
yes.
it's much more of a luxury than it is like, any Joe Schmo can go and set up a couple fireworks, but to put on a drone show is much more sophisticated and it's a lot more expensive. And then you're also appealing to a much more broader audience. And also it's new right now. So like it's a big thing.
Yes, it's new, and yes, you're right. You have to because it's newer. It's like trying to think of an example. If you
Okay.
have like a birthday party for a kid, like you can go
Mhm.
and get like the bubbles and the silly string and the whatever.
Right.
Like anyone can go grab that. But there's
Mhm.
only like one company in the Tri-County area that brings like a bouncy castle big slide thing, you know?
Right.
So, like
Limited
you need to
supply
get
for
that
the
one. It's
right.
like you
Correct.
need
Yeah.
like you can't just get like some dude
Right. There aren't any
controlling all these
knockoff available ones.
drones.
Yeah.
Like it has to
Correct.
be
Yeah.
done. So like you're gonna have to get these like companies that have maybe like like squads. Like we have
Yeah.
five squads, and each squad
Right.
controls a 500 drone show, and
Right.
we can put them out. So we can do five towns on 4th of July, and this
Right.
is and that's
Right.
it. And so you gotta like make it work so that they'll
Right.
and you but you're right, it'll like trickle down. Like I think it was at the Olympics, the
Hmm.
last Olympics they did it, and then it was at
Yeah.
like the America 250 stuff.
Right. Did you
Um
see I mean, did you see any of the ones from like this past like 4th of July?
I've seen like it was like
Specifically,
the waving flag and then there's like an
yeah.
eagle and then
Eagle,
there's
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Some of them are pretty good. Did you see the Jackass guys? They promoted their
No, I did
movie.
not.
Oh, so yeah, so
I know of it, but I did not see it.
they're doing a bunch of things to promote the movie. So they put a drone show together for the 4th of July, and basically it was exactly what you expect from the Jackass guys. It was a bunch of silly things in the air that they were able to make drones out of. So the one thing was a guy bending over, and then they had fire shoot out of his butt and just wrote fart in the air. That was entertaining, but that's obviously the best use of the drones. Yeah,
You're gonna God bless innovation. They're gonna come up with
yeah.
all new reasons to use it.
But I will say though, but like so like I think some of the drone shows, like I think maybe New Year's Eve, there were some good drone shows like in Dubai and like some of
Right,
those
right.
other
Like
like
yeah, I'm sure like Silicon Valley and San
mhm.
Francisco probably had a few and things of that nature.
Yeah,
Maybe
it's pretty awesome to watch though, because you can it's very awesome. Those things are so much
it's
fun to
just like
watch.
new. It's just
Yeah,
like
it's
even seeing like the same red, white,
right.
and blue
Fireworks for
like what are they called? Flowers, just the big
yeah,
main one.
yeah, sky flowers, yeah.
Skyflower. You've been watching that for 40 years and you're now at least show me something a little new.
Well, the thing is that and it's never going to be the same thing twice. So
Well,
like last year's drone show is not going to be similar to this year's drone show potentially.
yeah,
There's going
it's
to be
gonna be.
different imagery.
I mean, eventually, people won't care. Like the
Mhm,
first year, the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade had a huge, giant float. Like probably
mhm.
back in like the 30s. Everyone was like, "Oh my God, did you see the float? That was so crazy." But now you're like, whatever. Like you don't care about the
Well,
stupid
yeah, it's one of
float.
those things. Yeah, you get desensitized to it because it
I mean,
becomes a
I
thing. But
love the
right, yeah,
floats.
right.
I love the Macy's Day
Well,
Parade.
well, yeah, but I will
But
say for the next
people
foreseeable
without
10 to
souls don't like it.
oh well, yeah, the next 10 to 15 years though, drone shows are going to be awesome. Like,
Yes,
I
I
don't know
agree. It'll be like a thing that is coming.
I don't know how loud they are in relation to fireworks. Like, because it's got to be a constant humming,
I
so
don't
I'm
think
not
you
sure.
hear it. No, I don't
I
think
have
you
no
hear.
idea. I have no idea.
No,
That's what I'm
I think it's probably the opposite. It's probably eerily silent.
probably. Yeah, I mean, probably from the distance. I mean, I'm not a drone aficionado, but some of those drones can be pretty loud. And if you have 500 of them, I'm sure there's probably some sort of you know, sound. But it's not going to be the loud booming thing. So I'm sure from a pet perspective, like people with pets probably much prefer drone shows and like, you know,
That's true.
things like,
Yeah,
so there's going to be a lot of
the
that.
dogs hate the fireworks every year. That's a tough one for them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
So I don't know. I'm excited. I hope I get to see some drone shows in the near future. That'd be fun.
I would love to go see like I would if there was one around me that I knew I'd be like let's try and make a point and go see it. I would absolutely get off my butt to see it for sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Mhm. But
Yeah.
with that thought, though, we are going to have to head out and get off our butts. So this has been the July episode of After the Close. Thomas, thank you for being here. Um, what do we got coming up? What do we got coming up? Next month, August, you get a reprieve. You get the month off. I will be recording a live podcast for our what will be my fourth annual on location down in LBI. So we will be there. I got a couple of little technology tricks up my sleeve. Might be able to generate a slightly higher quality product, but it also might blow up my face and it's going to be an audio only or something because that's the only thing that works. So we'll see, but we'll try to figure that out. Other thing, you know what we did? We missed it last time around. I made my quarterly donation through the store to St. Jude's and to the Kent Fitzgerald Relief Fund. So they got a couple bucks. Total donations for the year, $25.
It's 25 more than they had before.
$25. So that's
That's
where we
awesome though.
are at this. So as a reminder, any sale at the store, $1 goes to it's split evenly. You get half goes to St. Jude's Children's Hospital, half goes to Kent Fitzgerald Relief Fund. So with that, we will be back next month live, and otherwise, be sure to check out the store. Be sure to check out the Substack every Tuesday. We're on Instagram. We are reposting on X and Reddit. And then, did I forget anything?
Yeah, just be sure to use trading view code Trader Dads, right?
Oh yes, yeah, the affiliate code. So Trader Dads on everything will get you a discount. So just when in doubt, punch in Trader Dads. Maybe like somebody puts in 1-800-Flowers, maybe they'll get a Trader Dads discount.
Yeah, right. Just try it on
They
everything.
won't. They won't. They won't. They
Doesn't
won't.
matter,
Only
but then
only
they'll,
only the only a couple. But
yeah.
yep. All right. Well, we will see everybody next month. Goodbye.